Hello, my name is Ansalim, and I'm going to be doing an interview with Mr. Lieutenant George Gongro for the PBL History Project. Hello, Mr. Lieutenant. First, could you share a bit about your role here at UC Merced?
Well, thank you very much, Hans, for coming in today and let me have the opportunity to talk to you.
Mhm.
You said I'm George Gongor. I'm the lieutenant here at the UC Merced Police Department. I've been with the UC for just over 17 years. I've been the police lieutenant here for about 7.5. So in my role, I'm basically the second in command of the police department here at UC Merced. I oversee all things law enforcement related: the police officers, patrol officers, investigations. Um, our public service ambassadors, which is our security guards that we have on campus, and also our off-campus facilities, student services ambassadors, and also our community outreach programs that are run through the operations side of the police department. And I'm responsible for a lot of different things in the department, operations related as well as administration related, a lot of administrative tasks as well too.
Okay. And what does a typical day look like for you, and how does your responsibility intersect, how do they intersect with firearm policy and campus safety?
Well, so I can't say that one day is necessarily uh, the same as the next. I don't typically go out on patrol like the police officers or the sergeants. Although I can go into the field if needed at any time, because anything can happen, anytime, anywhere, right? But my day, it's a lot of meetings, with campus stakeholders here in the department, with the supervisors. I supervise the patrol supervisors, so a lot of meetings throughout the day with them, just to make sure that what we do as a department, that it's getting done. Any needs that we have as far as resources, that those are getting met. The question about firearms, stay that again for me.
Uh, how does your responsibility intersect with firearms policy and campus safety?
So actually, as the lieutenant, one of my key responsibilities is actually management, preparing, writing policies, updating policies, and so that's very much in my lane here on this campus. And I'm also part of a larger group throughout the UC system, and actually we're going over policies that apply to all 10 UC campuses right now. So all those policies: firearms, use of force, body-worn cameras. Those are some examples of some policies that are actually being reviewed at the system-wide level right now. And so I'm actually on the statewide committee for that.
Okay. And given your experience overseeing campus safety, how do you see current gun laws or potential changes to them impacting the way you and your team handle security at UC Merced?
All right. So gun laws, like, can you say like which one specifically?
Uh,
You're thinking
any
about?
any that result with the that currently play a major role in your job? Like,
Well, I mean, and I'm not trying to get around your question here, because I think it's a really important question, because anytime a law um, changes, whether it becomes less restrictive or more restrictive, right? Is that the goal? I think anytime there's a law, or the goal and then the hope is that laws are obeyed,
mhm.
right? It's that when laws aren't obeyed, or even when laws exist to prevent certain things, that all laws are followed up until there's one that isn't followed. If that makes sense, then that's where we have to intervene. I can tell you that on our campuses, the number of gun crimes um, is very, very low, and I said that's mostly possession of guns. Whether I remember a couple being on campus and a couple being very close to campus, um, and we actually did have we had a violent incident back in 2015. Um, the person who carried that out, that wasn't with a firearm, right? But it's still an example of things that can happen that aren't necessarily gun related, right? So we do keep up with the gun laws, um, but there's not one that I can think of that necessarily, like, if it was going to change today, that would have a huge impact on it, because we do keep up with the changes in the laws. You can tell you, just if you're not a police officer, you can't have a firearm on campus anyway, right? According to California law. So guns aren't even prohibited here, even if you have the legal right to carry concealed, you can't carry it here, right? It's just, if somebody doesn't obey that and we find out, then we have to intervene.
Okay. And how would you say gun laws have either improved or worsened in the state of California?
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how far I want to go there because, as and you're really far into high school, being a junior, you're going to be a senior next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether it's good or bad, I'm I'm part of the executive branch of government,
Oh.
right? Which means that the legislature passes whatever they're going to pass, whether we agree, disagree, thinks it's going to be better, thinks it's going to make it worse. I don't. Sometimes we don't know those effects for many years, right? That depends on what that law is, right? Our job is to carry out the laws as they exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning from the time that the alleged crime is committed, right? That's one part of it. But then there's also if somebody's arrested, it goes through the process of going through the district attorney's office, may even go to court, right? The punishment for that, if there is a punishment, that it can vary, right? So I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to make things better or what's going to make things worse because everybody, there's a phrase that I heard when I was in college, actually working on my master's program, was where you stand depends on where you sit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I may sit here and say, well, we're going to carry out the laws or whatever they are, and somebody else may tell you that, well, no, it's good for these reasons. Oh no, it's bad for these reasons, and we're talking about the same exact law, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I actually know the answer. I have to take what's given to me and what's given to us, and enforce it for what it is, even if personally I may not agree with it, because I'm a law enforcement officer. I enforce the laws of the land.
And how do you believe these laws have played a role in how often crimes such as mass shootings occur? For example, school shootings and public massacres.